Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Mia. I'm so happy you found me. I do motherhood, beauty, and lifestyle videos. I am building a community for honest motherhood where we can support each other and uplift each other and just be there for other stay-at-home moms and mommies that need support. If that interests you, please subscribe to my channel and hit the little bell notifications. We are building our community, and I just love all the people that I've met in this community so far. All the women I've met have just been so uplifting and so supportive, and I love it, and I want to grow our community bigger. We are not alone in this motherhood journey. We are in this together, moms. So let's get started. This video is in collaboration with some amazing mamas that I have found through YouTube, and they are all going to be sharing their mama advice, and I will link a playlist with all of their videos in the description box. I cannot wait to watch these videos because, like I said, we all have been through things and we can just learn so much from each other. So I am so excited to go watch their videos. When you watch their videos, make sure you comment and say you came from my channel. Let's continue to grow a bigger community of support for each other. Okay, so first of all, I am parked. Like, don't worry, I'm not like filming and driving. But I've been meaning to film this video, and it just so happens that this is the perfect topic because today didn't go as planned, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about not sweating the small stuff. Like, choose your battles. Just choose your battles. Don't sweat the small stuff. And that is something that I wish I knew before I became a mom. I wish more of my friends that were moms had given me that wisdom. And to be fair, like, I don't want to say that they didn't tell me on purpose. I think that it's something that we learn, and you know, sometimes we learn this sooner than other moms. And I just want to share this tip with you so that way we can enjoy our motherhood journey and not sweat the small stuff. Choose our battles so we can enjoy this journey. My little one is in the back. He's sleeping in his car seat, and my oldest one is with his dad. They're washing a car. So first off, delivery. Like, we all have this like idea of our delivery process, what our birth experience is going to be like, and we just hold on to this idea in our head that it's going to be perfect, everything's going to go as planned. But we have a birth plan, we read all the books, we think that we know what's going to happen. We don't. And I think that was the first time that I realized, okay, I need to just let it go, not sweat the small stuff, and choose my battles. And choosing your battle is such a big thing, because during my birth process, when I was in labor, I wanted my mom to be there, and my husband, of course, and my mom could not get to the hospital because she does not drive, and it was snowing, and she lives in Tahoe, which is about an hour away outside of Reno. And she was waiting for my sister to get off work, and then that way they could drive down to the hospital, and there was a snowstorm and she could not make it. So I was extremely disappointed. Like, I wanted my mom to be there with me. I think we all like have an idea in our head who's gonna be with us in the delivery room, and I just had this idea that my mom was gonna be there too. So my first reaction was to be a little upset. Like, I was upset. I was disappointed, but I let it go. And I was like, okay, I'm not gonna focus on that because there's really nothing I can do. And I know my mom felt so bad already. So I didn't want to make it worse. I didn't want to cry. I didn't want to yell. I mean, inside I might have, but I did not want to let that out because it just in my head, I was just like, it's not going to make anything better. So that was the first thing. And then the second thing was, I was like, okay, just my husband's gonna be in the delivery room with me. And then his mom, who I love her to death. She is just, to know her is to love her. I can't even explain her. She kept checking in on us, and that was fine. Like, I wasn't like shy, or I didn't really care if anybody was in the room while I was laboring. It did not bother me. I also had my epidural, so it didn't bother me. And this is with my first son, Enzo. This is like the first experience as a mom, right? I mean, then like as I was going into labor, like when it was time to push, in my head, I did not expect her to stay in the room. But at the same time, I wasn't gonna ask her to leave, and nobody really asked me. But it like wasn't a battle. Like, my point was like, I didn't make it a thing. And I guess if I was really uncomfortable, if I was really shy, if I would have cared. But I guess being on the epidural and just like wanting to get the baby out safely, I just didn't care. And she was there. I mean, she knows me. She knows me now more, like more than my mom has seen me in a while, because she was there in my birth room and she basically saw everything. And it was not a big deal. And I'm so glad I didn't dwell on those little things, because it might have ruined my whole birthing experience if I had let the disappointment of my mom not being there, if I had let my mother-in-law being in the delivery room while I was giving birth, if I had let that bother me. And at the same time, it ended up being actually great, because I know it was really important for my husband to have his mom there. He is so close to her, and he was so excited. And actually, like, thinking back on it, it like makes me want to cry, because I'm just so happy that she was there even though my mom couldn't be there, and that he was able to share that first moment of becoming, I don't even know why I'm getting emotional. Like, I don't actually, that he was able to share that with his mother. It ended up being like a great experience, and I'm so glad she was there. And I don't know why I'm crying. What is wrong with me? I don't know why I'm getting all teary-eyed. Like, okay, let's bring it back. But my point is that yeah, I'm so glad that I just let those things go and enjoyed my birth experience, because if I had held on to that sense of control, or sense of like I need everything to go like A, B, C, D, or else I'm gonna like lose it, it would have really ruined that experience. There was a lot of things that happened during my, I think I want to say my first year of being a mother, that really taught me like, choose your battles, don't sweat the small stuff. So first it was the birth, and then it was bottles. Luckily, when Enzo was born, I didn't have a problem with him latching. He latched right away and was able to breastfeed, and that was like easy. I was really lucky with that. And but you know, like, you do, after like the first week, you're kind of like, okay, I need help. And everybody had said, wait like 3 weeks before you introduce the bottle. You don't want to have any nipple confusion. They might reject breastfeeding after. So I was kind of paranoid about that. And I waited for 3 weeks, I think. And then we tried to introduce the bottle so my husband could help me. and he just rejected it. Like, he did not want the bottle. I think I tried like 10 different bottles. I researched, I watched YouTube videos, and like, he would not take a bottle. And I was stressed. I didn't realize it at the time, but I think like I had postpartum anxiety. Just like things started, like, they seemed like it was the most important thing. I was like, why am I failing? Am I failing? Like, he won't take a bottle. I can't leave him alone with my husband. I can't let anybody take care of him because he's breastfeeding. And it really stressed me out. And I don't think that went away until I got him to take a sippy cup. Like, honestly, I really think that I held on to that, and I wish somebody had told me. I wish I had a friend that was a mommy, if she knew, because again, like I said, I don't know if all mothers learn this. I feel like some mothers still, who have their babies that are now 3, still like are holding on to this idea of like battling everything to be perfect, and they're sweating all the small things instead of just letting it go and enjoying the process. So I had nobody to tell me really, like, it's okay, just don't worry about it. Like, not all babies take bottles. You're breastfeeding, fed is best. As long as he's eating, don't worry about it. Like, nobody was there to tell me that. And I really held on to that until he started taking a sippy cup. My second baby, it was like a whole different ball game, because I was like, okay, my first didn't take a bottle, and he is probably not going to take a bottle either. And guess what? He didn't. He did not take a bottle. And I introduced it to him right away. I was like, okay, I'm not going to wait 3 weeks. I'm going to introduce it to him right away. He still didn't take a bottle. But this time around, it doesn't matter as much to me. Like, it actually doesn't matter at all to me. Like, I don't care. He drinks from cups with a straw now, and everything's fine. He's just never gonna take a bottle, and that's fine. So that's a perfect example of not sweating the small stuff. Another thing that happened in my first year of being a mother was when we would do family outings. Like, if I was gonna see my mom and my family in Tahoe, or if Carlos' family was going to have a barbecue and get together, I felt like I had all this, and now looking back, I know that I had all this anxiety. But I would get so anxious, like, for the whole day. I would be like, okay, I gotta make sure he takes a nap, so that way we're ready to leave, and that way we can be there on time. And I just would feel like so much anxiety to do these things so I could make this commitment and be on time and be like perfect. Finally, when I got pregnant with my second, I just realized that, you know, sometimes I'm gonna be late, and if it's not like a doctor's appointment or a commitment or like work, then it's okay. Like, they're still gonna be there at the barbecue. So what? Like, so what if I'm late? So what if I'm an hour late? It's family. Like, they're supposed to understand. So it's up to him when he takes a nap. Some days, and I know all moms know this, some days like your child will not nap. And oh, my dog's in the car with us. Some days our child will not nap, and instead of taking a nap at 1, he'll take a nap at like 3, and it really throws off the whole entire schedule. But it's gonna happen, and sometimes we'll just be late. And this segues perfect into my next example of learning to choose my battles. I'm a stay-at-home mom. If you have been watching my videos on my channel, you know this. So my schedule is a little different. I don't have to get up early. I don't have to get up at 6 in the morning to go to work, and I stay at home with my children. And during the first year of motherhood, I stressed out because I would look at other moms' schedules online, and most people's babies in like mom groups were going to sleep. We're going to sleep at 7 and waking up at 6, and that stressed me out majorly because of our schedule. Sorry, my dog. Because of our schedule, my son, after like the newborn, I would say around 3 months when we were really getting in a schedule, Enzo would sleep until 9, and that would like stress me out. I was like, he's waking up later, so he's going to bed later. And it actually worked out better for us, because since I was staying at home, and I am staying at home, and my husband would go to work, and but he would come home and he would still have time to spend with our child, with Enzo, instead of the baby being asleep. But I didn't realize that. Like, in my head, I was just so anxious, because I'm like, well, all these other moms on the mom group, they're saying their kids go to bed by 7. Some were even saying 6. Some were like 7:30. When I would bring it up in conversation with my friends, so I would realize that not everybody was on this perfect schedule. But I was stressing myself out because I thought it was this huge battle that I had to fight to be like everyone else. So until I let that go, now I'm like, I'm just doing what works for me. And the second time around with Leo, he actually wakes up earlier than Enzo, but at the same time we still don't go to bed early. We don't have a set bedtime for them. I mean, we try to keep it consistent, but especially in the summer they go to bed later because it's light out and my husband works later, and I want them to see their dad. So they are all excited. They wait for dad to come home, then we have dinner, then we do bath. They go to bed late, but at the same time it ends up being a blessing, because when we do go to family barbecues or family gatherings, or when there's a holiday or like a party, which there isn't a lot going on right now because of the pandemic, but when there is, I'm not stressed out about like, oh, I have to leave because I have to make bedtime. Actually, like, moms have come up to me and have been like, my sister-in-law actually was like, I wish I had been like you. I wish I hadn't been so stressed out about nap time and bedtime, because I would have been able to like be around family more at family gatherings. But she said she was always stressed about keeping her on schedule. I mean, now her daughters are older and it doesn't even matter, but we put ourselves in this like mentality, like we have to follow A, B, and C. Everybody else is doing this schedule and their kids have to be awake and asleep at a certain time. And for what? Like, why are we doing that? Do what works best for you. Choose your battles. Like, choose your battles and don't stress out. Like, don't sweat the small stuff. It's not important what everybody else is doing. It's important to do what works for you and for your family. And yes, eventually, like, kids have to be on a schedule because of school and other things. But when they're a newborn, when they're 3 months old, when they're like the first year of life, unless you have to get them up for daycare or to get somewhere and be somewhere, and don't worry about it. And you know what? Some moms, like, they find in their lives that if their kids don't go to sleep by 7, they turn into little like monsters, and it does not work for them. So for them, like, it might be important to go to bed at 7. It just all depends on what works for you and what works for your family. So don't sweat it. My next example where I learned, okay, I just have to not fight this battle, is Gymboree. So when we first started going to Gymboree, I want to say like Enzo I was very lucky with. He was such a good baby. He only wanted to be held by me, which didn't matter to me. But I did stress out about that, and that was probably like my postpartum anxiety. But I thought like, oh, okay, what's wrong with my baby? Why doesn't he want to go to everybody? When they hold him, why does he cry? But you know what, guys? It doesn't matter. Like, he's not gonna be 30 wanting to be held by me 24 hours a day. And now with everything going on, like the scary world that we live in, I actually don't want him to want to go to like every stranger. So it doesn't matter. But that wasn't the point. That's not why I brought up Jimboree. That was one battle. But Jimboree, he was such a good baby, and eventually our good babies, our good perfect babies, have a day where they have a tantrum, right? And let's just say, I don't even know, it's not one specific Jimboree mom, but you just have a sense when you go into these places with other moms that like some moms have it all together, and then other moms like Sally, her life is a mess, and you obviously want to be the mom that has it all together like Kim. So I always felt like a Kim. I was good, like my kid was perfect. Like when we would go out, he wouldn't throw a tantrum. Well, my day came. One day he threw a tantrum, and like I was sweating, like literally, like I got so embarrassed. I was like, what am I doing wrong? Why is he having a tantrum? Oh my God, Kim is judging me. Like, stop crying, please stop crying, because this is so embarrassing. And then like I just realized it does not matter. Like, it does not matter. One day you're gonna be Kim and have it all together and be perfect, or like what we feel like is perfect, like, and then the other day you're gonna be Sally, or I don't remember what name I used, but you're gonna be Sally and your life is gonna be a mess, and you might feel like everything is going wrong, and it doesn't matter. And like now when I see other moms that have their baby throwing a tantrum, like I've seen moms at this grocery store, and it's even harder now because you don't want your kid touching everything because of the germs. I saw this poor mom, and like I went to help her, and I was just like, don't even worry. Like, she was stressing out because her kid was, who must have been around Enzo's age, was throwing a major tantrum, and she was trying to do the self-checkout because the other line was too long. And like, if you see a mom that's going through it, don't assume she's a bad mom. She's just having a moment, and we all are gonna have moments. Trust me, like, if Kim, it's so much easier when you have one kid. Say you are blessed with this perfect kid the first time around. Well, if you get pregnant again, your kid is probably gonna be like Sally's kid, who has all this energy and is so full of life and might have a tantrum every now and then. You're not always gonna be perfect. Nobody's perfect. Even if your life seems perfect now, it might not be perfect. So if you see a mom that needs help and support, like, smile at her. Like, you don't always have to get involved, but just like smile at her and like let her know that she's not alone. When I have conversations with other people and they're like, my child did this, and I realize I'm not alone, it makes me feel better. Like, it makes me realize, hey, I'm not like a failure. And I know that everybody says don't think you're a failure, but sometimes just your heart just feels like defeated. So in those moments where we feel defeated, go find your support group and come to my channel, come to my Instagram, message me, DM me. I'll be there for you, because I really think it's so important that we know that life isn't perfect. There's no such thing as a perfect mom. Even if Kim has all her stuff together, and at Jimboree she looks like she has everything perfect and her life is so together, and she has her makeup done and her hair done and her kids like dressed in all designer brand names, she might go home and her kid might like have peed all over the bathroom floor. We do not know. And you don't want to be the mom that makes another mom who's struggling feel bad, because you might be struggling one day and you might want someone to be there to support you and tell you that it's just a day, it's just 5 minutes, whatever, however long the struggle is. Don't worry about it. Don't stress out. Don't sweat the small things. Choose your battles. We cannot control our kids. They're not little robots. So you really cannot battle them when they have a tantrum. all we can do is be there for them, try to understand why they're having a tantrum, and hope that they don't do it in the middle of like the grocery store or somewhere like where it's harder for us. Like, we just can do our best. So that was like a big like aha moment for me when Enzo threw a tantrum. It kind of reminded me that he's not always gonna be perfect and easy, and that's life. Like, he isn't perfect, I'm not perfect, and I can't be stressed. Life isn't perfect. So that was just a huge aha moment for me. Like, it was a major learning experience. The next example that was it was a big learning experience for me because I was very girly. I never liked my clothes to be dirty, and then I became a boy mama. My little boy Enzo, when he learned how to walk and we would go to the park, and I'd have him in like these super cute clothes, and then we went to the park one day and there was a puddle, and it was like under the swings, and it had rained before, and there was a puddle, and kind of like in the sand, there's sand all under the swings, and that park has sand everywhere. And he like jumped in the water, and at first I was like, oh my gosh, what are you doing? No, your clothes, your jacket, like, plus it's kind of cold, like, no. And he just like looked at me, and I just like, something clicked in my brain, and I was like, you know what, this isn't a battle we want to fight. Like, it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter. Let him play, let him be happy. And that's what I did. I'm gonna try to find the video I have of him, and I'll insert it here, but he had the best time, and he got covered in water and mud, and I was just like, this is my life now. I'm a mama to boys. Well, at that time I only had him. I am a mom to a boy, and my little boy likes mud, and he likes to jump in puddles, and his clothes are gonna get dirty, and my clothes are probably gonna get dirty. And it just clicked, and I was like, as long as he's having fun, as long as he's safe, he's only little once, let's enjoy these moments. And so I did, and I like let it all go. I just was like, I let it all go. Like, I just let all my expectations go, because I was like, I wanted to enjoy the moment, and he was just so happy. So that was such a big aha moment for me. Like, that wasn't a battle that I was gonna fight, and I'm so glad I learned that early on. Now I carry an extra pair of clothes in case there's a puddle, in case there's mud, because both my boys love mud, they love water, they love puddles, they love dirt, and I'm gonna be prepared, and it doesn't matter. They're just clothes, and just throw them in the wash, throw the shoes in the wash, and they'll be clean again, and that's it. The last aha moment, or where it really clicks, like to choose your battles and not sweat the small stuff, being a mom, for me, was co-sleeping. I had this idea in my head, you know, I'm not gonna co-sleep. Everybody says it's dangerous. I'm just not gonna do that. I wanna protect my kids. Obviously, we always wanna do what's best for our kids, and if the doctors are telling us co-sleeping is dangerous, we don't wanna do it. So in my head, you know, I had the Halo at that time. Like, now there's this new, I think is the new one. But when Enzo was first born, he's 3.5 now, or almost 3.5. The bassinet to have was the Halo. So I had the Halo, I got the Halo, put it by our bed. I'm not kidding you, as soon as I would place him in this bassinet, his eyes would pop open, and I was exhausted. Like, every time I would put him down, he would just wake up. I would like sit up with him in bed because I couldn't place him in this bassinet. Like, I couldn't. Like, I would put him in and he would wake up and he wasn't sleeping and I wasn't sleeping, and I would literally sit up holding him, and nobody like talks about this stuff, because my friends who were new moms too, I think they didn't want to feel judged, so nobody would really talk about it. Until I went to this great place in town that's called the Nurturing Nest. Now it's called Biggest Little Baby, but they had mommy support groups. Basically what you see in, if you know that show, Working Moms, that how the first episode, how they're in a circle and there's all these different types of moms. I found a group like that in Reno, and then people, like at that time that I ventured out, I think Enzo was 3 months old, and then like all these different moms were sharing their stories. All these different moms were sharing their stories, and I learned that not everybody uses the bassinet or crib. Some people co-sleep and it's okay. There was moms, there weren't first-time moms in that group that had already, like, it was their 3rd newborn or baby, and they were sharing their stories, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, there isn't just one right way. Like, of course we always want to try to be safe and keep our children safe, so co-sleeping isn't for everybody. You have to do certain things to keep it safe, and it might not work for you. So, but for us, like, as soon as I tried it, like, I got the guardrails up, I didn't have any pillows around, and my Enzo never wanted to be covered with a blanket anyways, so that was never an issue. And yeah, we started co-sleeping, and it was amazing. I could sleep, he could sleep. He never slept in that bassinet. I think I got a few pictures of him in it, like right before he would open his eyes. That bassinet was the biggest waste of money ever, because it did not work for my baby. But yeah, so co-sleeping worked for us. And then I remember talking to one of my other friends, and she was like, yeah, we co-slept with all our kids. Her kids are older now. Her kids are like 6 and 7. And I was like, what? Like, nobody talks about it. And I think it's because, you know, obviously guidelines and stuff, they say it's not safe, and it's not safe for everybody. I'm not saying like do co-sleeping. If I had gotten my kids to sleep in a bassinet, they would have been sleeping in that bassinet, but they never did. So that's why we tried co-sleeping. But yeah, that was another battle that I was fighting for a long time with my first son. And I learned that, you know, by the second child, I learned that I'm not fighting that battle. I'm not gonna sweat it if he doesn't sleep in his bassinet or crib. It doesn't matter. What matters is that he's safe and healthy. That was a huge aha moment. My last battle that I learned not to fight, or that I didn't even need to fight, but I felt like pressure and anxiety that I wasn't doing this, was date night. Date night. I had major anxiety the first year, and I did not know that I was suffering from postpartum anxiety. I didn't want to leave him with like people that offered to watch Enzo. I was just so anxious. I mean, he was breastfeeding. He didn't want to be held by other people. So everybody was saying, oh, we started doing date nights, blah, blah, blah. It feels like they would say this, and in my head, I was just like, should I be doing date nights? Like, am I gonna ruin my marriage? Like, obviously you don't want your marriage to suffer. And I'm like, oh, okay. So even though I had anxiety, I had a conversation with my husband. There's my dog, by the way. I had a conversation with my husband. I was like, so do you think we should be doing date nights? And he's like, why? He's like, why? Like, if we go anywhere, don't we want to take Enzo? And I was like, oh my gosh, thank you. Like, it just it was such a relief to hear him say that, and to know that date nights really weren't important to him. Like, as long as you have intimacy, obviously, and you can have conversations. I mean, like I said, it doesn't always work for everybody. Some people might have a very stressful job, and they might come home, and if your baby is asleep at a certain time and you're asleep at a certain time, and they come home later, like, maybe date nights are important to you, and that's a battle you do want to fight and you do want to incorporate in your life. But for me, my husband, and I was so nervous to have that conversation, because I was just like, he's gonna say yeah, that he wants date nights, and I'm gonna have all this anxiety leaving my kid with like a stranger, or leaving him with somebody. But I was so happy, and I think that that just proved that we are compatible. Like, I don't want to say we have the perfect marriage, but like that we married the right people, because for us, we do family nights, and that's what's important to us. Like, we enjoy spending time with our boys, and that's just what works for us. So I very quickly learned that I did not need to fight that battle. And just because Lucy and Sally and like him and Maria are all having date nights doesn't mean that you need to have that too. And yeah, just do what works for you, and you don't have to fight all these battles to do what everybody else is doing. Do what works for your family. Don't sweat the small stuff. Like, it's seriously so short. I cannot believe Enzo is already 3. Leo is already 1. Like, what? Where are my babies? Like, I cannot believe that they're already so big. And I've tried to be so present, and I think that learning about this and learning not to fight these battles and not have anxiety and sweat these small issues has helped me so much to be more present, to enjoy it more, and not just be like such a ball of anxious energy. And the second time around, when I finally learned not to fight these battles with myself, because I'm not really fighting with other people, I'm just like in my head, I'm like, oh, I gotta do this, this, and this. Not being anxious obviously makes your kids happier, it makes your husband happier when you're happy. So it just all comes together, and I just want you to know that you are not alone. Mamas, you are not alone, okay? And you don't have to fight these battles. If you're ever anxious, or if there's ever something in your head and you're just like, do I need to be like stressed out about this? Like, just message me, DM me, comment below on this video, and we'll support each other. Because I'm sure if you're stressed out about something, there's 5,000 other moms who have had a moment where they're super stressed out, thinking that they need to fight this battle, get their kid to take a bottle, get their kid to be potty trained by a certain age, get their kid to do this and this and that by a certain age. And it's really not that important. Everybody is gonna grow up, everybody's gonna be happy, everybody's gonna learn. And that's what I hope you get from this video. I hope that it shows you that we're all imperfect, and we're all just trying to be the best moms to our children, and we all are. I hope this video helps you. I feel like I wasted a lot of energy trying to fight some of these battles. So let me know in the comments below, what are things that you used to stress out about, or what are the things that you are still stressing out about? What are the battles that you are trying to fight that maybe you just had a moment of realization that, hey, it's not that important, like, let me let this go. So share them in the comments, and let's be there to uplift each other. So let me know in the comments, what are some of the things that you used to stress out about, or are still stressing out about, and what battles are you fighting? Because I can guarantee you that there are other mamas that feel like they are fighting these battles or stressing out about certain things, and sometimes we just need another mom to say to us, hey, listen, I literally went through that exact same thing, and at the end of the day, it didn't even matter. And if you like this video, as always, make sure you're subscribed, turn on the little bell notifications, and I just thank you guys so much for showing me so much support, and I hope we continue to build our community of moms bigger, so that way we can support each other no matter how far apart we live, or you're never alone. There's always some mama going through the exact same thing that you went through, and maybe you're the first one to go through it, and you can help us other mamas out. So I hope that we continue to grow our community bigger, and thank you so much for watching, guys.